Okay, so now that you had a taste of adding fractions, we're going to go into subtracting fractions. Here is a visual of subtracting fractions. So we have the 10 out of the 11 visually represented here, and we're going to subtract 6 of them. So if we take away 6 of them, take away that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many will that leave shaded? It looks like it's going to leave 4 of them shaded. So it's going to leave that 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to leave 4 out of the 11 shaded. Okay, so we start with 6 out of the 10 shaded. We are going to subtract or get rid of 3 of them. How many is that going to leave? That's going to leave 3 out of the 10 shaded. And again, simplifying is understood, okay? As is with all or any fractional, really any math, but especially in fractions. All right, letter C. We have 6 out of 6, so we have the whole thing shaded. We're going to get rid of 5 of them. And what does that leave us with? That leaves us with 1 out of 6. Six out of 8, we're going to subtract 2 out of those 8. And how many does that leave us with? It leaves us with 4 out of 8. And again, we can cut it in half. If we cut it in half, we get 2 out of 4. We would need to, again, because we didn't pull out the GCF, the greatest common factor, we just pulled out a factor. We'd need to cut it in half again, which leaves us with 1/2, which again, visually represented, we can see pretty clearly that it is 1/2 of the circle. We would need to simplify. If you pull out the GCF, you can get there right away. And then finally, on the last visually represented one, we start with 7 out of 10. We subtract 4 of those, and that's going to leave us with 3 out of 10. All right, so let's go ahead and try some without that visual representation and see where it leads us. All right, the rules of the game are the same. The steps are the same. So first and foremost, you're going to check for common denominators. Two, you're going to subtract numerators. You're going to keep denominators. And you're going to simplify. So you've checked for common denominators. You have them. You're going to subtract the numerators. 4 minus 3 gives you 1. You're going to keep the denominators, 5. You're going to simplify what you can't for this one, and you're going to get 1/5. Letter B, we're going to check for denominators. You got it. You're going to subtract your numerator. 7 minus 5, you have 2. You're going to keep your denominator, 9, and you're going to simplify what you can't, so you have 2/9. For letter C, check for your denominators. You got it. You're going to subtract your numerators. 7 minus 3 gives you 4. You're going to keep your denominator, 10. You're going to simplify. They're both even, so we cut it in half. We get 2/5, and we're done. We have like denominators, common denominators. We have the 12. We're going to subtract our numerators. 11 minus 5 gives us 6. We're going to keep our denominator, 12, and 6/12. We can either pull out a 6 or, again, just sticking with the even numbers, cutting them in half, dividing by 2. I get 3/6, and then I can pull out a 3, and I get 1/2. 6 over 12 is 1/2, so that does make sense. Whoops, I got really small. Sorry about that. All right, for E, we have common denominators of 100. We do the 23 minus 7, and we get 16 over 100. Again, cutting in half, we get 8 over 50. I cut in half again, we get 4 over 25. And I'm done. Letter F, we have the common denominators. We do 3 minus 1 gives me 2. I keep my denominators. And 2 over 2 is really just equal to 1. Or 1 over 1. 1 over 1 would not be marked wrong. All right, so looking at the bottom, it says subtract the following fractions. It could also say subtract the following mixed numbers. Remember, you don't want mixed numbers. Mixed numbers are going to mess up your life, or at least your mathematical life. You really want improper fractions anytime you have mixed numbers. So when you have mixed numbers, turn them into improper fractions. Okay, so doing that here, again, sometimes I'm not doing my operations out of order, but when I can, I put my, you can put your mixed number, you can work the problem a little bit out of order. Excuse me. So, like I'm going to put the 1 1/5 as an improper fraction just to see what I'm working with before I start messing with that 4. So if I put this into into an improper fraction, I get 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 gives me 6, and I put it over 5 because I know I'm sticking with that original denominator. So now I know that I'm working with that. I know then that I want that to be an over 5. And I know I'm working backwards here because I know that something divided by 5 needs to give me 4 when I divide it. So something divided by 5 gives me 4. What divided by 5 gives me 4? Well, that answer would be 20. 20 divided by 5 gives me 4. And I can only do this when I'm working with whole numbers. Okay. When I'm really constrained with like a denominator already, I can't do that. But when I don't have that denominator, when I'm working with a whole number, I have a little bit of flexibility. So then I have my common denominators. I can subtract my numerators, so I get 14, and I get 14 over 5, and I can't simplify that, so I'm all done. Very similar to letter B. I'm going to work with my second number first. So 4 times 10 is 40, plus 7 is 47 over 10. And then again, I want that 10, and I'm working back to 80. So what divided by 10 gives me 8? Sorry, I'm working back towards 8. I think I gave you the answer. What divided by 10 gives me 8? And that is 80. 80 divided by 10 gives me 8. So now I have the like denominators. 80 minus 47 gives me 33 over 10. And I'm all done. All right, so here's where I have some that are, I'm seeing common denominators, but I'm also seeing that messy mixed number that I don't want. So I know that I have the 7 on the bottom because I know that I'm keeping my denominator when I'm going from mixed number to improper fraction. But now I have to do that operation where I multiply and then I add. I multiply and then I add. So 7 times 5 plus 3. 35 plus 3 is 38. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 1 gives me 8. So I have 38 minus 8 gives me 30 over 7. So my answer is 30 over 7. No simplifying there. Here in letter D, I have 3 as my denominator. When I turn them from mixed numbers to improper fractions, I get 20 over 3. and I get 4 over 3, which gives me 16 over 3 after I subtract. For letter E, I know my denominators are 8. I get 31 over 8. And 17 over 8. I get 14 over 8. Cutting them both in half, I get 7 over 4. And then my final one, I have 6's on the bottom. I get 65 on the top for the first on the left. I get 17 over 6 on the right. I get 48 over 6, which simplifies just down to 8. And there you have it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask and reach out for help. And if not, I will see you on our live, and we will work through some of this and work through some of your questions then.